Hello guys, it's Cav here with another video, and today I actually want to thank you guys for 1000 subscribers. Last video kind of blew up a little bit and a bunch of new people came into the channel, so welcome aboard. Yeah, today I'm going to speak about the balancing changes that Wargaming has just posted, so it's official, and I'm gonna run through it and tell you my opinion about it. If I think it's good, if it's bad, and yeah, let's see what's gonna happen on this one. it's a lot going on, so please, it's gonna be a very long video. Take your popcorn, take your juice or something, sit down on the sofa and enjoy. Right, so let's begin. 113, the TD, the Chinese TD. We're gonna start with the Chinese nation, right? So it is getting nerfed, guys. It's getting nerfed. So engine power, it's decreasing, so it's getting slower. Reload time is increasing, so it's losing DPM. Rotation speed is decreasing by quite a lot, for real. That's 7 degrees less, from 37 to 30. That's a lot. Alpha, it's getting alpha. I don't know why it's 10 more alpha, 640 to 650. I am not sure why Wargaming is doing this, but alright. And reactive armor consumable. I don't think this was a good addition to the tank, because the tank already has a crazy armor and they're already adding this. So was it necessary? It's going to become like a bunker. I don't think it was. It is actually going to become much slower on the rotation speed. It will be a bit easier to circle it with your mediums and lights, but still sort of a nerf, and I don't know, kind of a buff here with the reactive armor, but still mostly a nerf. Come on, mostly a nerf. I just think they needed to nerf the armor, but alright. The WZ-132, the light tank, right? So it is actually getting some love because penetration values. Okay, penetration values are going down a little bit, but in terms of view range is increasing, reload time is decreasing, so more DPM for this tank. Reverse speed is increasing by 4 kilometers, so from 20 to 24, and is gaining gear oil provision. So nice, it's getting some love. I like that. Hopefully it's gonna be more in the meta. Let's see. I hope it will, because I love this tank. It's really nice. WZ-111-5A. So I love this tank as well. So let's see what Wargaming is doing to it. Wargaming tends to just nerf the tanks that I like. So let's see. HP 2300 to 2350. So he's actually gaining 50 HP. Nice. Dispersion values is actually getting better by a little bit, but it is. Power to weight ratio, it is getting worse. So it's gonna take a bit longer to get to max speed. Rotation on the hull is actually getting better, so I would say a buff to the 5A. Yeah, a buff in general, and I like that. I'm happy with that. The WZ-121, let's see, they are nerfing it. So reload, is increasing, so it's losing DPM. Rotation speed from the turret is actually decreasing. Power to weight ratio is actually increasing, so it's getting a bit quicker. It's gaining reactive armor, but losing a lot of DPM. I think I would rather my DPM, honestly. I don't think I'm really gonna use reactive armor on the 121. So to me, that's a nerf. I don't like that. Okay, I do not welcome that change. WZ-113, the heavy, we can see that power to weight has decreased, meaning it's a bit slower, sluggish. Max health has increased by 100. Alright, you know what? Fair enough. I'll take this. You know, the power to weight changes aren't that big, so I'll take it as a buff. Nice, I like that. 121B, oh, that's a major buff. Ooh, this tank is getting spicy. That HP is actually increasing by 50. Power to weight ratio 15.6 to 16.2 is getting quicker, right? His acceleration is better. Armor 240 to 252 on the cheeks of the turret, and 120 to 130 on the hull. By the way, it's angled, so I think this tank is becoming a monster. It is going to be the meta medium on tier 10, I believe so. So, yep, a huge buff to the 121B. Huge. Might even replace the 262A. We'll see. 114 SP2 is gaining an armor buff, so 175 to 185 on the cheeks, 290 to 300 on the central plate of the turret. Nice. I like that change. It needs an armor buff. And I don't think that's going to be enough. It's going to help, but not going to be enough, in my opinion. Alright, let's see. Type 59. Big buff. HP 1300 to 1370. That's good. Reload time. It's decreasing, so it's gaining DPM by quite a little bit, actually. Adaptive concealment. That's nice. Alright. Just throw that in there, you know, it's whatever. Nice. And armor, it is gaining armor for 7mm on the sides and 12mm on the front. That's decent. So I think Type 59 is kind of going back to the origins, where back then it used to be heavily armored when it was released and just the powerhouse on tier 8. But power creep kind of made this tank useless nowadays. So I like that Wargaming is bringing it back. Very good. I'm happy with that. So going to the French nation, we're going to speak about the AMX 30B. It's gaining Spooliner. I don't know about that. Reticle calibration. Okay, I guess. Power to rate ratio. It's decreasing by a little bit. And reload time. It's actually increasing by quite a bit. So you're losing DPM and you're losing a little bit of mobility to just gain spoolline and reticle calibration. Realistically, are you going to use that on your MX-30B? No. So big nerf on the MX-30B. No reason to do that, but okay. I'm unhappy about that change. AMX-50B. Aiming time is increasing by quite a little bit from 3.7 to 4.4. Penetration values. So we have two, just HE is changing. Only 4mm more. Who cares about that? So AMX nerf, AMX 50B big nerf. Alright, let's see the AMX M449. Right, reload time. It's actually getting more DPM. That's decent. I like that. That's very good. That's nice. Reactive armor. Okay, good stuff. Wargaming. And armor, it's improving by 10mm only. But remember, this is very well angled. So 10mm here, it's actually gonna be a lot more on the effectiveness. Alright, so nice, good. So this tank might be a meta heavy when they make these changes. I like that. Very good change, Wargaming. Bat-Chat, okay. There we go. I'm unhappy about this one. Reload time on the 105mm cannon, it's increasing by over 1 second. The dispersion values on the rotation of this cannon is actually getting much worse as well. The worst change on the 105mm, AP to APCR. I absolutely despise this APCR changes. Why is Wargaming simply changing AP to APCR? It's frustrating me. It's ruining the tanks. E4 ruined. You guys are gonna see the XM ruined. Bat-Chat with the 105 cannon ruined. Why are they doing this? Let's do a petition, man. Let's get the gang and revolt on Discord and say we want AP. We want AP, because it's really ruining it. It really is, and it's so frustrating. Right, 100mm cannon. It's gaining a buff. Alright, so 105 getting nerfed, 100mm is getting a buff on dispersion values, aiming time, you see 4.3 to 3.6, that's huge, that's really good. Reload between shells, the intro clip is getting, it's getting better. And view range, big nerf. So Bat-Chat, not the best spotter of the game anymore, I don't think. We gotta check that, but yeah, a huge, immense nerf right here. So Bat-Chat in general with the 105 cannon, big nerf. 100mm cannon, it's a buff. Alright, so maybe we're gonna start playing with the 100mm cannon. I don't know, let's see. And armor, they're decreasing it, so you're gonna be it's just gonna be easier to pen your Bat-Chat with HE now. Why are they decreasing the armor on the Bat-Chat? I don't know. Does it look like the Bat-Chat has a lot of armor? 60 to 50. Oh god, why? Okay. Anyway, it might be with the overmatch stuff as well, you know? Might be. Either way. Foch 155. Let's see. Alpha, basically on both cannons, is gaining a big buff on alpha. So from 500 to 560, I believe this is on the autoloader, and 600 to 620 on the single cannon, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. Traverse speed is actually getting better, so a bit quicker. Nice. Terrain crossing capacity, so terrain resistance, is actually improving, so that's really good. It's actually gonna go a bit quicker on the terrains, on all terrains actually. Yeah, the reload time, I think on the autoloader one is actually increasing, so 1 second more, that's quite a bit. So I think that's, I don't know, it kind of evens out because you gain 60 alpha, so I still think it's still a buff, honestly. Rotation speed 31.2 to 33.4, so the rotation is getting better. Power to weight ratio is decreasing massively from 20.9 to 14.3. That's crazy. So Foch is getting much slower. It is not going to be that charging powerhouse it was. View range is actually decreasing by 10 meters. Alright. Armor. Okay. It is gaining quite a bit of armor. So 180 millimeters on the cupola to 200. And you can see this is like the top part of the cupola here. And then the bottom part is actually going from 200 to 245. That's crazy. Right, so it's going to be a lot harder to pen the Foch on the cupola. That's good news. 180 to 200 on the hull. And yeah, lower plate is actually losing armor, so 120 to 90. But still, overall, big buff of armor in the Foch, but it's getting much slower. So you're sacrificing speed to get armor. I don't know how I like that, but it's going to change completely the gameplay of the Foch. So let's see how it's going to go. Mouse is actually gaining some DPM, and this dispersion values changes are almost insignificant, so more DPM to the mouse. I guess it didn't have enough. In my opinion, the mouse had plenty, so maybe the mouse is going to get maybe a tad bit too strong. Maybe, you know. Let's see, I don't know, man. Grill 15, we got rotation speed 35.7 to 40. Oh, that's delicious. That's really good. Reload time 11.3 to 11, so it's gaining DPM, which is awesome. Power to weight ratio 19 to 20. That's good. So it's getting quicker on the acceleration values. And max speed 50 to 53, so Grill is going back to its glory days, in my opinion. Wargaming not long ago made some few changes to the Grill that completely destroyed it, and now they're kind of going back to what the Grill was. So I love that. One of my favorite changes in this whole balancing patch, you know. This might be one of my favorites. KPZ 50T. Penetration values are actually going down, but aiming time is actually going down quite significantly. So in my opinion, worth trading a little bit less penetration for more accuracy. So buff in my opinion. VK9001. Actually going back on the 50T. Is it good that it's gaining more accuracy? I don't think it's going to be OP, but I think it was very decent. It's going to get a little bit better in my opinion, so might be even more meta than before. So VK90 aiming time is actually going to decrease, so it's going to be a little bit more accurate on the aiming time, but rotation speed is actually decreasing, and yeah, the dispersion when you turn your turret is actually getting worse. So I don't know, I think these changes are going to even out in a way, and in my opinion it's just a nerf in the VK because of the speed to rotation speed. So the rotation speed is just getting worse, so nerf to the VK in my opinion. VK90. VK72 penetration values are going down just 4 millimeters more on the heat rounds, so on the premium rounds, but on the the main rounds and the HE, they're actually getting a nerf. Not too big of a nerf, nothing you should be worried about in my opinion, but what you should be worried about is that this tank is gaining 1 second of reload time. So DPM, it is going to get quite bad. Yeah, they're pretty much taking the VK out of the meta, and it's still going to be alright, I guess, but it's not going to be as strong anymore, and I don't think people are going to use it as much. Dispersion values is getting a tiny bit better, but you know what, big nerf to the VK72, small nerf to the VK90. I think now VK90 might be even better than the VK72. We'll see. Right, Leo. Upset about this one. I'm so upset about this one. So they're nerfing the Leo big time. Reload time, they're increasing it from 6.2 to 6.7. HP 1800 to 1750. Power to weight ratio, they're decreasing it 1 by 1. Rotation speed, they're decreasing by 5 degrees per second. Oh god. Gun limit, they're decreasing it by 1. So they're actually nerfing its depression by 1 degree, and I'm pissed off about that. Reverse is actually getting a bit better, but do I want reverse to literally 2 kilometers an hour backwards more? Do I want that? No. I want my Leo back, I want my stats back, because this tank was not performing well on the current matchmaking, and you're already nerfing it now. So it's gonna become almost unplayable. It's just too hard to play with the Leo now because of teams. And now you're giving it worse stats, meaning people are not really gonna play it anymore. Oh yeah, but I'm giving it gear, oil provisions, and adaptive concealment mechanic. I don't care about that. Really, it's not gonna make that huge of a difference on my Leo. Maybe the adaptive concealment is gonna help, but not worth it. Not worth the trade. No. I don't like this nerf. E100. Okay, this is very interesting. And if you guys follow my channel, I'm just gonna say, I said so. I have 2 videos on the E100 cannon that I did. One on the 128mm that I said it was great and it was worth considering it. And I did another video comparing the 152mm to the 128mm, and I said both cannons are good and they have their roles on the tank. And now the 152mm is getting massively nerfed and the 128 is getting buffed big time. So E100 gonna change completely. So let's have a look. Penetration on the 152mm is decreasing by only a little bit, not too much. Alpha, less 20 alpha, so 680 to 660. Ooh, that's a big change. So a lot less DPM, a lot less, you know, factor. Wow factor in a way, you know. Why did I say factor? You get what I mean. Reload time on the also the dispersion values on the 152mm is going to get a bit worse, but reload time on the 128, this is where the big changes come. 128mm is actually losing pretty much 2 seconds of reload. That's a massive buff to the DPM on the 128mm, and it was already good in my opinion. Now DPM is gonna skyrocket, my friend. Penetration 250 to 256, so buff on the penetration. Aiming time 5.9 to 4.8, huge buff on that as well. Power to weight ratio 9.3 to 9.7, another buff. Rotation speed with the 152mm is getting a nerf. So Wargaming is trying to change the way you play the E100, so not with the derp cannon anymore, but with the DPM cannon, and boy, what a cannon. I'm excited for that change, very excited. E50M, reload time 5.9 to 6.5, so it's actually gaining DPM, nice. Speed shell, right, the shell velocity is gaining a huge nerf. It's going to get quite more difficult to snipe with this tank, so 1400 to 1100 almost, so quite a big change. It's gaining reactive armor. Look at that, and the armor is getting better as well. What? 105 on the sides to 114, 102 on the sides to 111. On some plates 5.2 to 8, and inside the inner plate in a way 87 to 102. That's crazy. E50M is gonna become a monster on bullying other mediums. Oh, I'm excited for this. So in my opinion, big buff to the A50M. I like that. It's gonna be a very good change. But in the other side, the Jagd Panzer, the Jagaroo, yeah, they're nerfing it, and I'm sorry, it is gonna become one of the worst tank destroyers on tier 10. Sucks, makes me sad, but what can you do? Wargaming does whatever they want to do. HP 2150 to 2000, so big nerf on the HP. Aiming time 4.9 to 5.3, so it's gonna be quite more inaccurate. Reload time is actually increasing by not 1 second, like 0.5 almost. So yeah, it's losing DPM as well. And armor, oh, they're giving it 10 millimeters on the little cheek here, on the little side of the cheek. Is that worth it, Cav? No, hell no. It is not worth it, and it's gonna become a very bad experience to play with Jagdpanzer, in my opinion. So good luck with that. That's gonna be a no next meta. Right, Japanese tanks, STB, reload time 6.7 to 7 seconds, so losing DPM again. Speed shell velocity, speed shell velocity doesn't make sense, so shell velocity, that's how I like to say it, is actually decreasing just like the E50M, so nerf on that as well, so gonna be harder to snipe on it, snapshots as well. Power to weight ratio is actually decreasing, so you know, acceleration values are gonna decrease, max speed, gaining a little bit, but still you're gonna take much longer to get to that value, so nerf to the STB, big nerf, and deserved in my opinion. STB was too strong. Type 71, alright, reload time 10.9 to 11.2, losing DPM on that, but one thing on the gold shell that is changing, which is insane to me, it is gaining 40 alpha on the gold shell, so from 360 to 400. I don't know how to feel about that change, because I feel like the type is already a very strong tank, and it's gonna incentivize people to spend premium shells on this tank. I don't know. Okay, let's see how that's gonna go. I hope it doesn't get toxic. Penetration values, it is gonna increase a tiny little bit, but not too much. So I'd say, I guess, a buff to the type. Ho-Re, speed travel velocity is actually increasing, so it's going to get a bit better to snipe with the tank, so that's nice. Reload time is actually decreasing, so more DPM for the Ho-Re. Rotation speed is decreasing by quite a little bit, so it's going to get a bit slower on the rotation, but you know, just careful with the mediums, you know, getting your back or something like that. And yeah, dispersion values when you rotate the tanks getting a tiny bit worse, but in general I believe it's a buff to the Ho-Re, so yeah, that's nice. I'm happy about it. I don't think the Ho-Re was performing well, so good to Wargaming to do that. Get into the British tanks. Ooh, nice. Okay, let's go. 183. Speed shell velocity is actually decreasing, so gonna be much harder to snipe with the 183, so big nerf there. Aiming time, huge nerf. 1 second on the aiming time. Damn, that's a big nerf, from 5.3 to 6.4. And shot dispersion, it's getting a little bit better, but does it matter? No, it does not. This tank is getting a nerf, and I guess people are not going to be using it so much on the map, and you know what? I don't care. I don't like the 183. It's so toxic for the gameplay, so I'm fine with this nerf. It's fine. Badger is actually getting 2 kilometers an hour forwards, so from 34 to 36. Terrain resistance is actually getting better, which I like. I really like that. I enjoy that. Rotation speed values is actually decreasing by a lot. Ooh, yeah. Mediums are gonna have fun. It's, you know, death circling this tank. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this. Mobility on the Badger is getting a lot worse. View range is actually decreasing as well, so in my opinion, nerf to the Badger. Big nerf for mobility. 15B, right, let's have a look. It is actually gaining view range, 5 meters only. HP is actually gaining 50 as well. And aiming time, 3.2 to 3.4. So aiming time is getting a bit worse, but you're gaining HP and view range. I guess it's a decent trade, because it's only 0.2 that it's getting, you know, 0.2 worse. So, you know what? I guess buff to the 15B. 4005. Okay, they're nerfing it. I don't know why. It didn't need a nerf, in my opinion. I think it was balanced. I didn't see people overusing it, and I don't think it was extremely strong. It had potential, but I think it was fine, and Wargaming is nerfing it. So aiming times 4.6 to 5.1, view range 250 to 40, and yeah, dispersion values are getting worse. No, actually, it's getting better. Sorry, but still, aiming time compared to dispersion buff is too big, man. So nerf to the 4005. Right. Okay. FV 4202. I can't even speak anymore. Right, come on guys, we're getting there. Let's push for this. Scatter factor, yeah, it's getting a little bit better on the dispersion values with the heat gun. Alright, not the hash gun, the heat one. Aiming time is actually getting a bit better as well. HP is getting a buff of 50 HP, that's nice. And penetration values is you're getting a small nerf on the AP. I think it's AP here. Yeah. Oh well, but still you're getting quite a nice accuracy buff here. So in general, to this cannon and FV, a buff. Right, Super Conqueror, let's see. Aiming time 4.5 to 5.1, nerf. Dispersion values 0.12 to 0.13, nerf. Speed reverse 16 to 14, nerf. Reload time 9.3 to 8.9, buff. Okay, more DPM, alright. But you know, it's losing mobility and accuracy. Dispersion values. A little buff. Alright, this is the dispersion values of the turret, by the way. Sorry, I forgot to mention. And this is for the when you, yeah, just in general. So, alright. Yeah. Oh yeah, for the turret when you shoot. Sorry, I really need to specify it. Reactive armor consumable. So I don't know how to feel about this. It's like 50-50. It's gonna change a little bit on how you play the Super Conqueror. It's losing quite a bit, but it's gaining a little bit as well. So I don't know. Mixed feelings about this one. Chieftain, ruining it. They ruined the Chieftain totally. So I'm gonna tell you why. Rotation speed 33.4 to 29, so it is getting slow on the rotation. Aiming time 3.6 to 4.3, so it's getting more inaccurate. The scatter factor of the gun when turret is rotated, so 0.1 to 0.12, a little bit worse. Penetration values, right? And one thing you need to understand before I mention the penetration values is that, yeah, you know your premium routes, APCR. So back then it was 260 on the AP or APCR, I'm not sure. 310 on the APCR and 110 on the HE. So you had APCR if you wanted to pen like a heavily armored tank, and HE, high pen HE if you wanted to pen a medium, a side of a heavy or whatever. Now they're taking away the APCR, they're taking away your HE penetration values, and you're going to be left with, I think, AP, if I'm not wrong, hash, premium hash, and HE. Cav, why does this ruin the Chieftain? Mate, what are you going to do when you encounter a heavily armored tank? A IS-7, a 60 TP, a Type 71. What the hell are you gonna do? Tell me. You got literally 255 millimeters at best. It ruined the Chieftain. It just ruined it. What are you gonna do? Nothing. Just ruined the thing. So yeah, now you're gonna have. I think it was 360 to 470 now, because you know hash has more damage than the APCR. I'm just upset about this. You're gaining tungsten shells, gear oil provisions, but I don't care. You're still ruining the tank. Yeah, so many people spend money on this. There you go. A collector tank. Hooray. Let's change everything to collector so we can change without people complaining. Right, M48 pattern. Reactive armor consumable, gear oil provisions, reload time, it's actually increasing, so you're losing DPM to gain those provisions. Worth it? I don't know, we'll see. I don't think I'm going to use reactive armor on my pattern, so maybe not worth it, honestly. T25 pilot, so yeah, it's getting a bit of a buff, so 1300 to 1390, nice, getting a bit of love, because this tank is actually quite forgotten. Power to weight ratio is improving to 16 from 16 to 17.9, so that's almost 2 increase. Ooh, that's an increase of 2 right there. That's good. Reload time 6.5 to 6.3, so you're actually gaining DPM. So big buff to this tank. Nice. Let's see how it's gonna do. Maybe a much better support tank now. M60, same thing with the pattern, man. Improve, but now it's just gaining improved engine power, sandbags, and yeah, it's gaining provisions, and you're losing DPM, and you're also losing shell velocity. In my opinion, nerf. Right, Sheridan. Penetration values is actually increasing by 5 millimeters. Max speed is going from 65 to 67. Okay. Alpha, nice, is actually gaining 10 alpha on the AP, so that's good, that's nice. So I think even though, you know, you're getting a little bit more inaccurate, you're getting a little bit slower, I still think it's a buff for the Sheridan, because Sheridan is all about that damage, that shot damage, that alpha. So yeah, buff to the Sheridan in my opinion. T57, rotation speed is actually going from 33 to 30, getting slower on the rotation. Aiming time 3.5 to 4, more inaccurate, and well, it's gained a slight boost on mobility. So maximum you can go from 35 now to 37, and 12 now to 13. Worth it? No. So big nerf to the T57. I already think this tank wasn't doing wonders on the current matchmaking, and now it's gonna do even worse. All right. Concept 1B, we got reload time from 8.3 to 8.4. Not 8.6. Sorry. To 8.4, so a slight buff on the DPM, a slight nerf on the dispersion values when you shoot, but not that much, not noticeable. So buff for the concept. All right, good, I'm happy with that. XM, I'm extremely unhappy about this change, and I'm very upset about it, and you're gonna see why. Aiming time, it's getting worse by almost nothing. It's whatever, I don't care about that. Changed type shell, so it's going from AP to APCR. So yeah, I am very unhappy about that. Wargaming keeps doing this, where they just keep removing AP and adding APCR. Just why? You're ruining it. You're ruining the tank. XM was fine, it didn't need to be nerfed that way. It's gonna get like, it's just gonna become so bad. Okay, anyway, E4, power to weight ratio 14.6 to 14.4, getting slower. Rotation speed getting quite a bit slower, so 30 to 27. View range 250 to 40, so another nerf. Aiming time is getting from 0.5 to 5, so it's getting a little bit better, and it's gaining sandbags. Worth it? No, of course not. So yeah, it's getting much slower, much sluggish, for 0.5 more accuracy on the aiming time. Nah. E3, rotation speed 29 to 25. Ooh, that's huge. That's huge. You're gonna struggle with mediums now, so be careful. View range speed 240 to 250. Okay, interesting. Well, the E4 is getting nerfed. The E3 is getting buffed. I wonder why. It doesn't bother me too much. It's not that much of a difference. Aiming time 5.2 to 5.5. Nerf. Reload time 16.3 to 15.9. So, okay, it's gonna get quite a bit more DPM. I like that. Makes me happy. Penetration of gold shells 375 to 380. So you're gaining DPM to become a lot slower. Let's see. I think it might be a slight buff. A slight buff. Let's see. Right, and our last page here, we got the M6 Yo. Aiming time on the 120 millimeters is 4.6 to, and now it's going to 5.4. A huge nerf. Aiming time on the 105, 3.7 to 4.8. Another huge nerf right there. Power to weight ratio 14.1 to 14.4. Slight buff. Max speed 35 to 38. Slight buff. Armor getting worse, 175 to 160 on the hull. Big nerf to the M6. Did it need this? No, it didn't need this. I think it was alright the way it was. Wargaming is just making this tank more unplayable, and it wasn't being played that much anyway. Right, I don't agree with this one. T95 is 6. Look, I don't know how to feel about this one. Power to weight is decreasing by 2. Rotation speed is increasing by 5 almost. So not 5. Sorry, 4. I can't even count anymore. 4, yeah, almost 5. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. You're gonna accelerate less, but then you're gonna turn quicker. I don't like this change. I don't like this trait. But still, you will gain armor on the cupola, so 220 to 248. Let's see, maybe that's gonna be effective against mediums when you hold down, but is it really gonna make that big of a difference? I don't know. Let's see. Not huge, but it will make some, I guess. But yeah, I think that's about it, guys. That's all the changes for today. Oh, that was a lot of talking, and I'm sorry if I was mispronouncing a few things. I'm extremely tired. That was I recorded for my Portuguese channel. That was like 50 minutes, and here as well, like 30 something. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It is quite a lot of info, quite a lot to digest, but please let me know in the comments what you think about this. And yeah, let me know about what changes you're happy about and unhappy about. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, consider sharing and subscribing for more content. I appreciate you guys, and I'll be seeing you on the next one. Bye bye.